Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Hart with Design Like a Pro, and I'm here to have a quick conversation with you because I want to get your feedback. I had a great question on the Design Like a Pro Facebook page, and it was from Monica, who asked me if I only had 5 fonts to use forever, what would they be? And this is a fantastic question because as designers, we always have access to a lot of different things, a lot of content, a lot of assets, and how do you really pare it down? And so I went straight into InDesign to compare my answers because with newer versions of InDesign, you can actually see your most used fonts. And I went and answered her on the page just to see what fonts I would pare down to, and then it did match up with my most used fonts in InDesign. So what fonts would I use if I was only allowed 5? Well, the very first one that I would want to keep in my kit is Adobe Caslon Pro. And the reason for that is you need a strong serif font. If you're going to only have 5, you first of all need to have a strong serif font. You can use this for publications, for long blocks of text. So I need to have something like that in my toolkit, and I absolutely love Adobe Caslon Pro. It's much better than Times, it's a classic sort of font, and I like the look and feel a little bit better. And so what is my next font? Well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit on this one because I need to have a sans serif font as well. If we're gonna go with the serif font, we need a sans serif font. But sans serif fonts are my absolute favorite, so I'm cheating by going with the whole group of fonts on this one instead of just one particular one. So if I were to pick a sans serif font, I would go with Futura. I use Futura all the time, and the reason that I say I like to have a variety in this one by having the complete font set is because Futura comes with a lot of different weights and styles within that one set of fonts. So in order to maximize that font, I'm gonna need the bold version, the condensed version, the light version, and all of those. But if I was going to be fair and just select one, then I would pick the light version. I use that one the most. So far we have Adobe Caslon Pro for the serif, Futura for the sans serif, and that leaves us with 3 other fonts. And so from there, I would move on to something that would complement those 2 fonts. So for me, in my design workflow, I'm constantly working with headlines, bigger, smaller text. So those 2 fonts are gonna work really well. What comes next? Well, I'm gonna need something that's a strong, bold font. And again, I design modern, so I'm gonna lean towards a sans serif for this and go with League Gothic. Now, League Gothic allows for a great use of all caps as far as a font, so it's great for headlines. And so I would throw that into my toolkit for something that I would use for larger fonts, posters, for example, or headlines, but it does have a lowercase version too, so it allows me flexibility, right? Okay, so 2 more. Well, here's the thing. Because I sort of cheated and used a whole bunch of fonts for Futura, I'm just gonna pick 1 more font just to keep it a little bit more fair. And so the last font that I would choose would be a script font. Now, this one is difficult because I don't really have a favorite script font that I use, because when I lean towards script, it's more of the handwritten font, so you might be looking at Journal or something like that, and so there's tons of those out there. They all have a different sort of feel, and so it's hard for me to pick one, but I would definitely want to add a script font to the top 5 so that I have the most flexibility. And I use script fonts for highlight text. So if we have a strong sans serif text, I might throw in a script for 1 word or bigger headlines just to throw in some variety into my designs. It's a great way to do that. And so that gives you a collection to start with. And so I thank Monica for this great question because it really gets us thinking as designers, not only about limitation, right? So you might be, oh my gosh, I'm limited to 5 fonts, no way. No, this actually gets you thinking about why you use the fonts that you would use if you only had 5. So carry on this conversation, please. You can carry on the conversation on Facebook, or you can just leave a comment below because I really want to see what kind of fonts you guys would choose and why. I want to know why as well, but if you just list the fonts, that's okay. But I'd love to hear from you and see how fonts affect your designs and what would happen if you only had 5. I thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest here at Design Like a Pro, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.